So this is where you start in Tempo. You have to grant privileges, and this lets the app create the compute tools and perform a bunch of privileges that you will need to run the Tempo application. So now that we have privileges, what do? We have to activate. Now this part may take a little longer, depending on where you are, the database type, data sets and things like that. While that's going on, the beauty of this is, the process runs in the background. So you can still navigate around the application, get familiarized with it, learn a little bit more about how it works, what's going on behind the scenes. A lot of benefits from implementing an offensive cybersecurity solution within your enterprise. Like I said earlier, a lot of things happen in the background. You can just keep going around and, getting comfortable. So here in the main app profile page, so to say, you can see your event logs. You can see your, compute processes going on. If you're into cost management, you can check all that as well. So I'm just clicking around here, showing you what's going on within the application, the features, and just getting comfortable. Now here is where we go to create, basically get work started, right? To go and create a worksheet. If you can see earlier, I used the drop down. That just helps so you see what the options are before you actually start creating anything. That's the top right corner from a few seconds ago. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to, create the first worksheet. Here's the documentation. This one pager here, it just shows you what the prerequisites are. Grant access rights, which we've done. Launch the app, which we have also done. Easy read. The team's done a really good job keeping it simple. The cognitive load is very low because I believe in very low cognitive load. It could be a little better because some of these make assumptions that you know what you're doing, but if you're a novice like me, it might be a little frustrating momentarily, but once you go through it once or twice, the hope is you don't have to go through it more than once to make it much more digestible. Okay, forget the screen there. That was, just disregard that for now. Select the database, Tempo, as the instructions say. Pick any database, any, sub-base from there. And then drop the code here and hit the blue go arrow button. It's going to initialize. Once it's initialized, then that tells you you're ready to go. Pretty much. Now, we are going to click on the second line of code, and you need to get something. Perhaps maybe I should get a fidget spinner or something to occupy. There we go. Beautiful. Look at that. That is awesome, right? So you have all the data. You can look at sequence ID, right? Start time, end time, source IP, destination IP, connection, source port, destination port, source device, destination device, and it's classified as malicious. Really, really cool stuff. So all of the security, all the scan, all of that, all the data set has come back, and now we can go and look at the documentation that tells you now, let's go into a deep dive. And that analysis would, give you incidents that are tied back to underlying data sequences. And we can use a specific sequence ID to do a deep dive into that specific event. The documentation is clear, so let's do that and see what happens. In the application, as I said earlier, just some tips, so just to keep visual engagement, but here we are. So let's drop down, drop the line of code, and then find a sequence ID that may be attractive to do a deep dive on. I'm going to pick something that looks different. Oh, I see workstation. Awesome. So sequence ID 24. Let's use that. And let's hit go. Let's see, what does the chart looks like? Wow, that's a beautiful chart. Same data presented very differently. So this visual representation is kind of cool, actually. Imagine if this was playing in real time, like a music chart. That would be very interesting, kind of like sine waves on a synthesizer. It would be interesting if we could convert this to sound and just go, play a nice tune and look at how our scans are going. All right, boom, executing. So we have hit go on that, and it is executing, and it should send us a result very shortly. Purposes is going a little longer That's by design because I'm doing a deep dive. But just personally, click, click, boom, boom, and pow, here we go. So we've got all of the same data points pointing to all of the results on the deep dive on that sequence. Yeah, on that ID. 24 unique IDs, the timestamp, source IP, destination IP, source port, destination port, flow duration, bytes, forward, backward, average bytes per packet, source service, destination service. So you see all of those data sets that are presented to you. Action inference on the service name, and we did our deep dive on sequence ID 24, and we got our results. So what can I say? This is awesome. Now I can delete the worksheet, and we are done.